What's up everyone? Long time no see. Old Man Cam here, finally back with a new video. Anyone who knows me well knows that I see myself as both a connoisseur of video games and music. Those same folks probably also know that my tastes in both are about as eclectic and hipstery as they come. So, what you're about to see here is probably unlike any top 10 list you've ever seen. This is a list of my top 10 favorite video game songs. Oh, and before we really get into this, just know that I did set limitations for this list. All of the songs on this list are ones that comprise game soundtracks. No licensed variety soundtracks here. Sports games, racing games, and games with in-game radio music are out. Number 2, I can only use one song per game, because if I didn't, this list would probably only have 3 or 4 games on it. Also, I think this goes without saying, but I will say it anyway. These are my own personal opinions. If there's a song that you think is better than something on this list, just let me know in the comments below, and maybe, if you're nice about it, I'll give it a listen. Alright, enough chatter. Strap on your headphones and adjust your sound levels, because we're about to get started. Number 10. DDD's theme, version 2, from Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Kirby games have always had great themes. Dreamland, Superstar, and Air Ride are all unforgettable soundtracks in relation to major moments in my life. So, it's inevitable that at least one of those songs would end up on this list. This particular version of King Dedede's boss theme, rearranged for the Great Cave Offensive stage and Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, stands out for some more glaringly obvious reasons. For one, it's performed with traditional Japanese instruments. Not something one of a kind or even new to the Smash Bros. Series, but something that is refreshing and adds a showdown vibe to a traditionally chaotic fighting game. Second, in a game with lots of hard rock remixes featuring heavy guitars, or songs where chiptune instruments are reimagined on the instruments that they were mimicking back in the day, the sound of this song is even more intensely unique. Hey, I told you I was a hipster. Number 9. Mount Wario from Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart has many well-done remixes and reimaginings with lots of nostalgic themes. Like Smash Bros., it features stages and themes from old games remixed into something new. So when one of the new themes stands out amongst the old familiar ones, it's an achievement indeed. Nothing about Mount Wario's music makes it definitively better than other original themes in the game on its surface. The big band rock themes used in this arrangement are actually quite common in Mario Kart 8. What does stand out in this theme is the fact that the music itself is dynamic. It changes and adds in or removes elements depending on where the player is on the track at any given time. It's something that is much easier to describe in detail than to simply tell you about in passing. So, I will leave links in the description to some videos that break down the stage's cues. One video for the musical layman, and the other by one of my favorite YouTube channels, 8-Bit Music Theory, for the musical savant. That way you can fully understand and appreciate how the music production on the stage is top-notch among a sea of already great themes. Number 8. Level Theme 2 from McKids. Before making this list, I honestly thought about completely baffling viewers by filling it with musical relics of my childhood. But after some self-deliberation, I decided to be more realistic than that. Earworms are earworms, and the enhancement of video game music has actually made music better for the most part. But even the best earworms aren't as funky and memorable as this one. From a licensed McDonald's game from the late NES era, we get McKids Level Theme 2, a surprising standout among a game of even more surprising standout music. A funky percussion-heavy beat and synthy lead give this song an unexpected level of polish, something that is shared in common with most every element of this game. I'm sure amongst the list of esoteric and strange games mentioned in this video that this is the one you've never heard of. You should really play it. You'd be surprised by how solid a platformer it was for the time, and that is not just hipster Cam talking. Number 7. Love Rap from Rhythm Heaven Fever. Minigame music collection Rhythm Heaven is one of the most Japanese game series I've ever played. Good or bad, you can take that as you will. Its no context absurdity plays a distraction to simple minigames that can be enjoyed with 1 or 2 button presses timed with music. Love Rap from Rhythm Heaven Fever stands out among the collection as being genuinely difficult with its heavy reliance on syncopations and lightning quick reaction timing. Those musical patterns being a catchy pain in the butt even became a meme between my wife and I. Singing out Faux Show in my house is nearly guaranteed to get a syncopated echo back, even if we can never get the pattern as tight as in the game.
Hey Sam.
Hey Cam.
Faux show.
Faux show.
Faux show.
Faux show.
Being a rhythm game, many of Rhythm Heaven Fever's songs could go on this list, but Love Rap's personal meme status is certainly what elevates it above the rest. Although the double up of Packing Pests certainly makes a close second.
Double up.
Number 6. Landsick by Chuck Reagan from The Flame in the Flood. The Flame in the Flood was the last game that I literally could not put down. I'd set it to download at midnight one night, woke up and played it non-stop from noon until 4 a.m. the next night when I'd finally beaten it. It isn't a flawless game by any means, but it did get me to sob like a baby. No need to rub it in, my wife already picked on me about it. Out of all the soundtracks on this list, I don't think any of them are as well crafted and fitted to its game as Chuck Reagan's The Flame in the Flood. The launch trailer immediately caught my attention with this song specifically. The lyrics are so hauntingly applicable to the protagonist and the gameplay, putting the player character in a state of shifting balance between safety, of food and water, and shelter, and progress on our journey, and at other times haunting you with the dangers of an unfruitful hunt or an ailment with no immediate cure. I'd never heard of Chuck Reagan before this game, but after listening to its soundtrack, I certainly felt like I should know his name. Number 5. Avalanche by Dan Terminus from Neurovoid. If Chuck Reagan's soundtrack for The Flame in the Flood is the most fitting of all the games in this list, Dan Terminus' The Wrath of Code, used in the game Neurovoider, is second. I include Neurovoider's music despite its license because the soundtrack consists of only songs from The Wrath of Code and nothing else. Now that we've gotten past that caveat, let me tell you about how upset I am that the absolute worst stage in the game has my favorite music in it. The biggest, most spread out stage with the most generators is the worst stage for speedrunning, which this game is almost wholly based around. Not that I can really hear the good bits of 5-minute plus songs anyways if I'm trying to speedrun them, but that's not the point. The real point here is that this song is funky and moving, and even without its annoying spread layout, I can never get to the breakdown bits before I'm off to the next stage. Number 4. Stalwolf Theme from Star Fox Assault. Just a heads up to you non-music dork kids, much of the rest of this list will be very traditionally orchestra heavy. To the band nerds out there, this is probably what you came here for. The Star Fox series created the stage themes that fans know and love today back in Star Fox 64 in 1997. Back then, the legendary composer Koji Kondo attempted to convey the orchestral greatness of the new Star Fox themes with what little he had on the N64 sound chip. But, in my opinion, that sound wasn't fully realized until it can be represented by a real orchestra in 2005's Star Fox Assault. Now, the best game in the series? That's still Star Fox 64. But Assault was serviceable for what it was. especially since most of the Star Fox games since 64 have been, well, just not great. But Assault's music, for me, is still the pinnacle of what those themes can be. The Star Wolf theme specifically was so fire the first time I heard it that I made it my cell phone ringtone, and I usually keep my phone's ringer off. That trumpet solo at the start is just too epic. Number 3. Tremble, Land, and Sea from Monster Hunter Tribe. Monster Hunter as a whole is a very niche series with a very niche style, sporting heavy orchestral tribal feel, and nothing to me embodies that more than the music that first caught my attention in the game, Legiacris's theme, Tremble, Land, and Sea. This theme that I would eventually come to associate with all Monster Hunter games is represented heavily in the intro video of this game, and it should be, as Legiacris is the flagship monster of Monster Hunter Tribe, my entry into the series proper. And if you didn't know, Monster Hunter games are headlined not by new player characters or storylines, but by the new monsters they include. And Legiacris himself would come to scare the ever-living shit out of me. But that's part of what makes Monster Hunter my favorite game series of all time. The feeling that something that was utterly terrifying at first encounter could, with time, practice, and patience, become something so iconic and essential to what you love. This is what brought me into Monster Hunter fandom, and this is part of the love that will keep me there probably forever. Number 2. Main theme from Octopath Traveler. I never understood what it meant for a classic RPG soundtrack to be imagined in a modern setting until I played Octopath Traveler. There are many reasons why this soundtrack could very well be considered one of the best of all time, but those explanations are well beyond my expertise. However, there are videos that sum up the greatness that is the Octopath Traveler soundtrack by YouTubers, GameScore Fanfare, and my favorite once again, 8-Bit Music Theory, that I will link in the description below. Suffice to say that even if you aren't up to snuff in your music theory, you'll still be able to get the gist of why all of the music production for Octopath Traveler is so phenomenal in the first place. Just know that Octopath is a very flawed, if not charming game that is greatly uplifted by its art and music direction. This soundtrack is literally so good that on my video editing workdays, I sometimes boot up the game just to keep its title music on replay, and that's not a joke. Now before we get to the number 1 song on this list, just know that this list grows and changes order all the time. In fact, while we were recording this video, I had considered replacing songs and changing the order numerous times. But if you want to see some songs that miss this list, hit the like and subscribe button and hit the bell as well so you can be notified when I inevitably make my top 10 video game musical runner-up list. Because it's gonna happen. Alright, enough stalling, let's get back to the list. Number 1. And Dolphin Surge by Wet Floor from Splatoon 2. If you know me at all, you could probably see this coming from a mile away. And Dolphin Surge is hands down the coolest song I've ever fallen in love with in a video game. With the song's energetic tempo, its electro rap rock feel, its funky syncopated bass line, its punny name, its inherent dissonance, and it being performed by a band created especially for the game, and Dolphin Surge embodies what makes the entire Splatoon series great. It's a love letter to what made 90s and early 2000s style simultaneously hokey and cool, and it pivots between the two so fast that it can't help but blur the lines. To be honest, in a game where various fake bands provide many different kinds of music for the soundtrack, Wet Floor music in general stands out as my personal favorite. And most of their discography alone potentially making this list is the main reason that I had to enact a 1 song per game rule in the first place. Seriously, give their parts of the soundtrack a listen and then go play the game. It makes everything that much better. Alright everyone, that was a list of my favorite songs as of right now. If you enjoyed what you saw, like, subscribe, and leave a comment letting me know what some of your favorite video game songs are, and I'll be happy to give them a listen. Thanks for indulging my musical journey, and we at the Cricket Party will catch you later.